So I gotta ask you about the Twins, even though we're getting just like further, further and
Yeah.
further from anything that is like credible or like actually seem worthy. So you most recently mocked them, I think Vance Honeycutt, who feels
Yeah.
like one of the highest variance guys in that kind of like he could go somewhere in the like, you know, 12 to 15 range or like right at the back of the first round possibly. So let me
Hmm.
try and ask a question in a different way that's a little bit more friendly. Who are some guys that the Twins should be thrilled about if they're still on the board at 21?
Oh, easy. If Chase Burns or Hagen Smith or Nick Kurtz, if those guys are on the board, you'll be thrilled. Um, I mean,
Walked into that.
If I'm the Twins and I'm picking, what is it, 21? Some of these players, like if Trey is like I don't expect Trey Savage to be available, but he had a partially collapsed lung. If that is concerning for teams, and he slides because of that, you should be thrilled to get him. A guy like Seaver King, I feel like should be a profile with his tool set and athleticism who should be gone inside the top 15 picks, but he's a
Mm-hmm.
pretty aggressive swinger. There are maybe some concerns with his approach. If he's available, I would be thrilled with that. A guy like Cam Smith, we haven't talked about Cam Smith yet, but he's the other Florida State hitter who probably should go in the first round. He's maybe the single most improved offensive player in this draft class year over year. What he did this year compared to the hitter he was last year is tremendous. Adding a lot more contact, showing a much more selective and advanced approach to the plate. Mechanically, the swing is different. I don't think every scout is in agreement that like they love those mechanics. Sometimes it could be a little bit of a manufactured swing. But he's on the younger-ish side of the class as a draft eligible sophomore. He's very physical, 6'3", 220 pounds. He's got really loud tools. He's got plus raw power. He's got plus arm strength. So there are a lot of things to like with a player like Cam Smith, who I would be happy with. And then just kind of looking around, like I would be happy with a guy like William Schmidt, but I don't know if I tend to think of the Twins as like a high school pitching team, even though they took Chase Petty, and that one was like
Yeah.
pretty good with him at
Charlie
four. So
Soto at 30, what was it,
yeah,
33 or 34 last year? Maybe not with their first pick. I don't
Or did you look at the Twins? And you're like, they took Levi Michael and Aaron Sabato, and then you
Stop.
chuckled, and then you were like, give him another North Carolina guy, because those two have not worked out. One didn't work out. One's not. Well, Sabato's playing okay, but oof.
is he actually? I kind of written that one
I
off,
think
and I'm a
he's
UNC guy.
He's hitting a little bit at AA right now, but
he has a good approach. He has a good approach. I think that's the early days of this current front office, though, right? Where they had Sabato and then Keone Cavaco, excuse me. Maybe the
Those
year
two
after
picks
that
are pretty tough ones, but I think those misses actually maybe mislead people. If you look at some of their later picks they've had in drafts, they've done a really good job. They're one of the teams that I think of immediately when I think of like day two and after hits on college players specifically. I think them and the Mariners have done a really good job IDing college pitchers that they've either they've picked up on traits that they have, or they know what they can develop well with their player development and just take those profiles and make the most of them. So maybe I would have more confidence in whoever the Twins are drafting in the 6th round at this point.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I gotta say, Carlos, you guys made Twins Fans Day today with the top 100 update with both Debbie Matthews and Luke Keyshaw getting some love there. So people are really excited about that.
Luke Keyshaw definitely felt like a bit of a lock to be on that 100. I think Zebby, like there were a couple of really compelling arguments for him. He was obviously at the very back end, and there was a cluster of players that we were kind of debating. But I know JJ specifically was very high on Zebby and what he's done. But man, Luke Keyshaw, really since like day one in pro ball, he was one of the few players who actually started hitting the ball harder with a wood bat, which we typically don't expect to see. And he's just been tremendous. Twins, something about like offensive oriented second base types, they really do well.
Jamie absolutely loves Keyshaw, and he was on him before the Twins took him. So every time anybody talks about him,
any opportunity, living off that take.
Hey, there's Christian Moore. He's an offensive-oriented second baseman.
There you go. Give me him or Ryan Waldschmidt. Honestly, at 21, I don't think that's too rich for either of those guys, personally.
I'm not sure if I'd go there with you on Waldschmidt, but he's certainly getting that sort of juice.
So can I ask, Jamie's other big favorite is David Festa. Was he close to the top 100?
His name was actually brought up. So he's like kind of in that mix of guys who were kind of on the cusp. I'm not sure if he was ever like on the list in our process, but that's definitely a name that was mentioned. So I think he's kind of in that pretty large group of players who are like about to force themselves on or might be on, depending on graduations.